Welcome back to the channel, I'm Ben, and today we will try to establish who wins the comparison between MetaQuest 3, the top of the range headset from Meta's gaming line, and the Pimax Crystal Light, an economical headset exclusively for PCVR, but which promises an unprecedented experience in terms of graphic quality, and we will soon see why. Pimax Crystal Light was presented during Frontier 2024 at the price of $699 without local dimming, while the version with local dimming is already being sold for pre-order at the price of $899. Does it seem like a lot? Does it seem like little? We can say until we dig into the specs and what it offers. In general, we are talking about a PCVR-only headset with integrated audio, 6-degree freedom of movement, compatible with external bases, even if it's already complete, given that it's a headset with inside-out tracking, complete with controllers, a custom processor to make the most of the PCVR experience, crazy lenses, but we'll talk about it in a few seconds, 35 pixels per degree, high comfort standard strap, QLED screens with 2880 per 2880 resolution at 120Hz, huge FOV, the same goes for the sweet spot, which is practically the entire lens, and Pimax declare no ghosting and no glare. Two microphones, compact and very light design, and it connects to PC via DisplayPort cable, and this is already a big plus compared to the other PCVR headset on the market. But what's the difference between Pimax Crystal and Crystal Light? The name already says it. The Crystal Light is an enlightened crystal, not only in price but also in features. In fact, Pimax has finally understood that it's useless to put all that technology in a headset that is certainly not within everyone's reach, when the same technology is not 100% exploited by users. So Pimax decided to create a crystal with the same resolution, same screens, but with the option of being able to choose mini LED in combo with QLEDs, same refresh rate, same interpupillary distance, but to be set manually and not automatically as in the crystal. The eye tracking has been removed, the foveated rendering is no longer dynamic, but it's fixed, and Pimax talks about a fixed foveated rendering 2.0, but at the moment there's no further information on how it works. Tracking is identical to the crystal, inside out with optional external bases. The lenses are the same as the crystal, but in the light they are not interchangeable, and we're talking about 35 pixels per degree aspheric lenses. Even in the light, we have a 3.5mm audio jack and two microphones instead of three. And then, one of the most important differences, the lack of the XR2 processor. Pimax Crystal, in fact, is also a standalone headset, capable of running games without a PC, while the Crystal Light is a PCVR-only headset, with dual processor to bring out the best of the VR experience on PC. Obviously, there is no internal memory, there is no battery, there is no wireless connection, and it's not even compatible with the 60G Airlink module, and the only method of connection to the PC is via DisplayPort cable, as already mentioned. Now, folks, if we think that Pimax Crystal cost $1,600, it's easy to understand that this Crystal Light represents an unmissable opportunity for all those who don't care about having a standalone headset and who want a top PCVR experience, even if some rather important features will be missing, such as the automatic IPD adjustment and the dynamic foveated rendering, but I will also say in which case you should aim for the Pimax Crystal Light. However, if choosing between the Pimax Crystal and the Crystal Light may seem like an easy and obvious choice, is it equally easy to establish which is the best VR headset between MetaQuest 3 and Pimax Crystal Light? First, let's compare the features between the two headsets and see if there are already any substantial differences. Let's see if, on paper, there is already a winner in this table I created, comparing them side by side. Resolution 2064 per 2208 per eye versus 2880 per 2880. Infinity LCD versus QLED plus mini LED optional. Refresh rate from 72 Hz up to 120 Hz versus from 70 Hz and up to 120 Hz. IPD from 57 to 75 mm versus from 58 to 72 mm. In both cases, manual adjustment. No eye tracking for both. Foveated rendering is fixed in both, but in Crystal Light we have this foveated rendering 2.0, which should be better. Same type of tracking, even if Quest 3 is not compatible with external bases, or rather is not directly compatible. Lenses, we have pancake lenses versus aspheric lenses, and to say that here, at least on paper, Crystal Light should win, but you will have to look through the lenses first before you can confirm it. More or less same audio system, but even in this case, I would first like to hear the audio of the Crystal Light with my own ears before deciding the winner, even if it's not difficult to do better than the Quest 3. The processor, XR Gen 2 and PCVR via USB-C cable and wireless versus PCVR DisplayPort only. This is an aspect that I put aside for the moment because there are aspects to evaluate, and we'll get to that in a few seconds. I only add 8 GB of system RAM for Quest 3, which of course is not present in Crystal Light for obvious reasons. Internal memory of 128 or 512 GB, but Crystal Light being only PCVR doesn't have it. All in one, which is both standalone and PCVR versus PCVR only. And here too, we'll come back to it in a few seconds, because we need to evaluate a couple of things. Finally, there is the FOV, which is the field of view, which on Quest 3 is 110 degrees, while it's not yet declared on Crystal Light, but it seems to be wider. And what is no less important, the price. Starting point of 549 euros for Quest 3 for the 128 GB model, and to which we will certainly have to add an expense ranging from 40 euros to 80 euros for a more comfortable head strap with or without battery, against $699, which on our market I guess will be at least 700 euros, I presume, without having to add anything else. The rest then are minor hardware differences that do not make big differences, so we can just leave them out. Now, said like this, we have many more points in favor for the Pimax Crystal Light, and if we take it for granted that where the Crystal Light keeps its promises, it's actually superior to the Quest 3, the gap increases even more. It will seem that the only points in favor of Quest 3 are an insignificant difference on the IPD, with a slightly greater range and the possibility of playing without a PC or even play on PC wireless. For the rest, Pimax Crystal Light seems to win hands down on Quest 3. But when does one product really win over another? When this product can satisfy all your needs. So, putting aside the technical differences, what you have to ask yourself to understand which is better between Quest 3 and Pimax Crystal Light is: what do I want to do with the headset? What content do I want to play most on my headset? Let's go step by step. Will I use mainly for simulation games such as driving or flying, or for those games where it's not necessary to move too much? Otherwise, could the cable be a problem? Can I do without standalone games and the ability to take it everywhere and play it wherever I want? But above all, do I have a high-end PC with at least a Series 30 or equivalent to be able to make the most of the DisplayPort connection and the very high resolution and refresh rate of the Crystal Light display? Because let's be clear, don't think about buying Crystal Light if you have a 1060 or even a 20 series, because you're not going anywhere, and I would say even with a 30 series that is below a 3070. If your needs match with these questions, then the most suitable purchase for you will be the Pimax Crystal Light. Let's see another case. Will I only play PCVR? Am I aware of the fact that the quality of of the USB-C cable connection is not even comparable to that of a DisplayPort cable, and that even the wireless one, with all the necessary settings to improve the graphic quality, will not be at the same level as the DisplayPort cable. And is this difference really that fundamental to make me choose Crystal Light? Do I want to play it with PCVR only and only via cable? Or do I also want the freedom to play on PC without cable and even the freedom to take the headset anywhere and play it without PC? Considering that today the quality of many standalone games is almost the same level as the console. Do I want to try a social experience in VR? Do I want to watch video contents such as movies and TV series on the headset comfortably on the sofa or even lying in my bed without cables and without a PC? Is the superior quality of some Crystal Light features compared to the Quest 3 worth the extra price of at least 200 euros? If you fall into these categories, then your choice should fall on Quest 3. Now, please don't rush into the comments and ask questions like,
I will like the quality of the Crystal Light but with the price of the Quest 3 and without wires. How do I do it? Which one do I buy?
or
is there a way to use Crystal Light without a PC and without wires?
in short, wherever the combination of the two cases just represented, I don't have the answers. First, because I haven't yet put my eyes inside Crystal Light, and I don't think I will unless this headset falls from the sky, and I'm not even in your case history. I have only put you in front of some possible choices to make and explained it to you in which cases you should choose one rather than the other one. Bottom line, there is no winner between MetaQuest 3 and Pimax Light Crystal, because the one that meets your needs is the real winner. Therefore, you decide it. Just keep in mind that by playing PCVR only, you will miss out on some exclusives that occasionally arrive on standalone headset, such as the recent Asgard's Wrath 2 and Assassin's Creed Nexus. Take into account the cable bulk and consider a possible hardware upgrade of your PC, because Pimax Crystal is hungry for high performance, and the only way you can connect it is with the cable. If all this is not a problem to you, the choice is not difficult. I hope I have been helpful to you with this video, and I hope I have been clear enough. Let me know in the comments if you are considering purchasing Crystal Light or if you are more oriented towards Quest 3. Thanks for the full view, like, subscribe and continue to follow by activating the bell with all notifications, support the channel via the super thanks button, and if you want to buy Quest 3 you can use my Amazon links that you find in the first comment or in the description. In this way you will give a small hand to the channel without any additional cost. You will also find the referral link to use before activating a MetaQuest headset to receive 30 euro credit, link to the Telegram group to purchase MetaQuest games with a 25% discount, and link complete with a discount code for the purchase of VR accessories from the best brands such as Kiwi Design, CyberVR, VR Cover, Obica, and the VR Rock prescription lenses. That's all from them. See you next time. Greetings, Rebel.